We're podcrastinating too much. We got to get it on. Good morning. Good morning. We're here, and we got to think of something good too, like so that it could translate over. Like,
Okay, you guys. Hey, this is Ev, and we're here at the Academy of Self-Defense.
and this is James.
Wait
and
a minute, I
I'm with
wasn't
Ev.
finished. I'm here this morning on our podcast, but I'm nursing a black eye.
Nursing a black eye.
Yeah, and
I didn't give it
want
to
to be
him.
filmed because it looks pretty bad. So I just, me being in martial arts and really trying to push the school and being the head instructor.
And I suggested he turn his head and look stoic. But since we're here, happy Monday.
There you
Here we
go. All right.
I have questions, Ev.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep us on topic.
On what now?
Only because I've been doing this the longest. By doing this, I mean I've been listening to podcasts the longest.
How do you know that you've been listening longer than I have on all these podcasts?
Because
I don't even know what a podcast is. So
yeah. So back in the 2000s, probably, let me see. I would say at least 15 years ago, my buddies and I.
Are we going right now?
Well, I mean, we're leading into the intro. So like,
Okay, hold on. Let me put this ice pack on my black eye that I just got this morning. All right.
So like, back when I was in my 20s, something like this, my friends and I thought we were hilarious. So we decided we wanted to venture out when this first started becoming a thing. Like, and this was, at least 15 years ago, 20 years ago almost. My friends and I actually legitimately wanted to start a podcast. We were thinking, why don't we just record each other? Like, we record a sit down and we just talk about old times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It was a good idea, and we actually recorded a few. But, like, it never went anywhere because, like, we all moved away and we didn't get a chance to actually sit down enough with each other.
You probably went away because not everybody had the tools to, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
we were
Not
recording
everybody
off of our phone.
Yeah, everybody has phones now, but
Yeah.
they never, I mean,
Back then, 15 to 18 years ago, the phones weren't the same.
you should have seen when I first got my first mobile phone.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It looked like a suitcase.
Yeah.
It was huge, man. But
Those are the mobile phones with a cord on it and a box. It's a box with a cord.
Yeah. And let me tell you, it was like 20 pounds and you carry that around like a suitcase, right? And I had one of those and it was a real pain in the butt.
Nice.
Oh my God. Yeah. And everybody goes, oh my God, you got a mobile phone? You know what? My mobile phone bill was the first time I got it. And it was over $800.
Jesus. I've had one of those, but I think it was only because I didn't pay the bill for a few months.
Times definitely have changed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just amazing, right? In my day, I remember, this was in the 70s and 80s where, we were wearing pagers. I don't know if you know what that is.
Yeah.
Do they still have pagers?
Doctors use pagers. And coincidentally, I was working for the ambulance company for a while. They have pagers as well.
Okay.
They actually have 3 forms. You have to be able to have a phone, you have your radio, and you have a pager.
Oh, so back then, pages were a thing. And I remember I worked for a company and it was sales and getting paged. And then if you were on the freeway, you'd have to get off the freeway and find
a payphone.
Yeah, people are like, what the hell's a payphone? And I remember payphones were like a dime to make a call. But in that time, it went up to 25 cents. And then, do they still have payphones?
Every once in a while you could find one, but only it almost feels like a novelty. Like they left it, there's a payphone on our street down there, but there's no phone inside the booth. It's a booth that says phone with no phone.
Yeah, so, I mean,
Pretty hilarious.
Times have changed. It's just like, just like in martial arts. Man, when we started when I started, you remember, all I wanted to do was stay in shape.
You weren't young?
I was 20.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and all I wanted to do, people think, oh, wow, you're from Japan. Did you do that when you were small?
Karate master?
Yeah. No, hell no. I didn't even know what that was until I wanted to stay in shape because we had got out of high school, was out of college, and I seen some of the old high school, football team, and they were getting bald and they were
Yeah.
tearing a gut, and I'm like, I don't want to be like that. So I signed up at a community center, and the guy that was teaching, his name was Tony Thompson.
Tony Thompson.
And he was different, man. He was really scrawny in high school, but man, when I saw him, he was all buffed and big afro, and it was amazing. And I did recognize him, and then that's how he wanted to learn how to play music. So, I had a music store. I owned a music store then at that time, and I said, I'll tell you what, I'll trade you lessons. So that's how it all began. Man, it was kind of cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So he learned how to play guitar. Couldn't sing, but he learned how to play guitar. So, yeah.
And he ended up being in your band?
No.
No.
Oh, no.
You ended up teaching him how to play guitar?
Yeah, that was it, right? I mean, I was teaching guitar and taking martial arts at the same time, right? I was doing 3 or 4 different martial arts at the same time because I had the time, and it was just it grew into like a passion. I mean, it was fun. I didn't have to be on a team. I didn't have to depend on someone else to be able to get something done. So it was cool.
What were the martial arts you were doing at the time?
I was doing Taekwondo, okay, and then I started Eskrima, and I did some Kung Fu, and then I also did Shotokan.
All right. So it sounds like, to me, that just sounds like a mess of different. So each discipline had a different stance, I'm assuming. I mean, it kind of translates, one foot in front of the other kind of thing. But at the same time, I know for a fact that Taekwondo is bladed and Kung Fu maybe not so much. And,
Shotokan's a square stand.
And then we've been doing Eskrima, so I know that's not a bladed stance, not necessarily.
No, not necessarily. But that was a weapons, the guy that I was training with, his name was Mangi Susuro Maikine, who was the founder of the Nine System.
Right.
And I was taken with him. And then, I was taken with, started with a guy named Dan Choi. Wow. His studio was right next to the mortuary.
Oh.
In San Jose, right on Santa Clara Street. Right. And they said, wow, what's the directions? Oh, just look for the mortuary. We're right next to it. Great. So that was Dan Choi. And then Dan Choi trained with Ernie Reyes and Tony Thompson, and back in early 70s broke off and started. Before
they all started there.
Yeah, started West Coast. So, and then Shotokan, I was training with a guy by the name of Ben Abaka, who was a 4th degree in Shotokan karate, and he was, very, very by the book.
Yeah.
Do it this way, right? I mean, a punch is a punch, right? But your punch had to be perfect, and it had to be done this way, and so, and as far as Kung Fu was totally different.
Yeah.
Very, very more flowing. And the guy that was teaching me, his name was Ming Lum. And Ming was in Chinatown, and he had a hook for a hand.
Nice.
Yeah, his left hand was a hook. So he taught Kung Fu, and Kung Fu was kind of cool. So just learning all these different systems was very cool.
How is it learning from a guy with a hook hand? I mean, I don't know how to be PC about this, but it just sounds awesome. How do you learn from a guy with a hook hand?
You didn't want to make too many mistakes, because if he hits you, he didn't hit you with his good hand.
Yeah.
He wouldn't hit you, he would hook you. I know, but we joke about it, but he was awesome. So,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
so I mean, it was great. It was great exercise, being 20 years old and being able to do that. I got a chance to go to Korea and train at the Kukkiwon, which is World Federation. I mean, it's the world headquarters for Taekwondo.
Nice.
So.
How long were you there?
We were there for almost a month.
Oh, okay.
We got to train. People go, wow, training in Korea. And we would go to different dojos, and they were all tiny. I mean, it would be like a 10 by 20 big room with wooden floors.
Yeah.
Nice and polished and everything. And that's how
wood floors.
Oh yeah. You take falls on the wood floor. And you would,
well, I guess it's not a lot of falls, right? Like Taekwondo, this is Taekwondo, right?
No, not a lot of falls, but
they keep you on your feet.
Yeah, it
for
was
the most
just
part.
totally different, right? And so I mean, people that was training in those dojos, and no hand gear, no. I mean, we did where
Because I've seen those Taekwondo gloves. You didn't wear gloves.
no, we didn't wear gloves. Oh, it was bare hands, man. Back then it was bare hands and bare feet, and then and it used to be a lot of karate tournaments in the 70s and 80s. I mean, a lot.
Yeah.
Every weekend.
As we've seen from classic TV shows such as The Karate Kid. Apparently, all Valley competitions were big back in the 80s.
Well, you know what? There would be when I was training, and we would go to a lot of tournaments, but it was choice, and they were a big thing, man. I mean, 200, 300, 400 people in a tournament was a big tournament.
Nice.
And there would be 5 or 6 tournaments every Saturday and Sunday, every weekend, and we'd pick the ones that we would go to, and but it was a lot of fun. Was totally.
So yeah, with all that contact, what does a recovery on something like that look like?
You mean if you got a broken nose
Or yeah, you just get messed up a little bit, in the tournament, you bounce back and hit the next weekend, or you wait a couple weeks, or
well,
do they let you fight with black eyes and?
Well, I mean, I've had broken fingers, broken toes, broken noses, chipped teeth, black. I mean, black eyes. I mean, again, 500 or 600 black eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and chipped teeth. Yeah, it was. It was very. I wouldn't say brutal, but it was a lot more.
They kind of let you guys do what you did.
Yeah, the points. See, nowadays when you get a point, when you hit somebody, or now
reset, right?
Well, it's a reset, but when they hit you, it doesn't hurt. In those days, when they hit you,
I see it.
Yeah, but when even with pads, right? When they hit you, eventually towards the end of the 70s, they were wearing pads, and when they hit you, oh my God, you would feel it.
It was harder. It was even harder now. Yeah, they were like, "Oh, we got to dial it down a little bit. It's skin on skin."
Oh no, they didn't say dial it down.
Oh my God.
But point, and then where you're trying to recover from that last kick, or whatever. Yeah. But nowadays, all they do is say, "Bam, hit it," and it's kind of a touch, and then out. So which is, I could see the reason for that.
That's why they have the ultimate fighting competition and the karate tournaments and those. Yeah, that's why they have the martial arts.
Taekwondo now is an Olympic sport. Where
Olympic, yeah.
Yeah, and they never.
That's what I think. When I think Taekwondo competition, I just think they put on their helmet, they put on their little chest pad, they maybe wear gloves, maybe. I know that there are training gloves, but I think it's just a chest pad and a helmet. And it's a really thin, both things.
Well, it's foam. It's a foam helmet. I mean, and again, in the old days, you'd see people get hit in the head and just go boom, out, right? Yeah, and that still happens. But I'm telling you, people think Taekwondo, when you get a good kicker, oh my God. Let me tell you, it's devastating.
What Taekwondo person isn't a good kicker?
Me.
I think we're allowed, Ev, at this point. I don't know. I might still hit the head kick, maybe, but man, I'll be out for a week.
Hey, listen, Taekwondo, I liked, what's cool about martial arts, I mean, people say, well, my martial arts is better than your martial arts. I mean, how many times I've heard that? And a person who says that really is just not informed.
Yeah, we'll call them closed-minded.
Why did martial arts start in the first place? I mean, every system has something good about it.
Yeah.
Right? Every system. That's why I've taken so many different martial arts and I've trained with so many different people, because I always wanted to see what was different and always, wow, that's cool. That's good. Can I use that I always wanted to, just like, we do Krav Maga here, right? And Emi picked the best from each system to put into his system.
Right.
He recreated that for the IDF, which everybody could use, right? Now, some of these martial arts aren't for younger people. I mean, you look at capoeira.
Yeah.
The
little handstands and spins and flips and.
I've never seen a 80 or 70 or 80-year-old man doing capoeira, right? When you get that old, you learn that, hey, there's a fight or there's a commotion, just walk away.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of old people don't go over there and go, hey, what's going on? They're like, you know what? Let's just go this way, right? Supposedly you get more wisdom when you get older. No, we just get smarter. We just like, let's not get involved in the first
there's
one.
more wisdom. We just think.
So, but yeah, so every system, and that's why I like training and all, and I still train in different systems because
Even though you've got like black belts in every system.
But
What kind of belts you got, Ev?
I have a dress brown belt. I have a black, I have a dress
Those
black belt.
reversible one.
Reversible one. I have one where you can take
actually brown and black. It's just depends on which.
You know, I mean, in most systems after third degree, it's now all about the money and how much time you spend. How many, you know, when you get to third degree or fourth degree, it used to be, well, okay, how many students have you brought up and into the black belt level, and how long have you been in the system? I mean, I've been doing this for
little over 15, 16.
Yeah, 52 years, 52. Man. You know, people always go, when are you going to retire? I'm not going to retire.
Why?
I mean, it's a lifestyle. You know what I mean? And again, it's just why my dad always like, why the hell do you do this shit? I mean, he'd always ask me that. Why are you going to get out of this shit? I'm like, what? I enjoy it. I have fun with it. I like helping people. I like teaching stuff, but I wanted to, you know, and it helps you use your brain. You know what I mean? And that's one of the things that you want to, as you get older. And I can say that now, like, because I'm older.
Yeah.
The stuff that I did when I was younger, and I did it a long time ago, has really helped me in my old age.
Yeah.
They call that the sunset years or the twilight years or whatever, right? I don't see it as twilight years, right? I mean, when I can't move, then I don't even want to be around.
Yeah. Yeah, because what's the point?
Yeah, really, right? Right. So again, but I'm just seeing martial arts now or some of the systems, and it's all about the money.
Yeah.
Right?
Bummer.
Yeah, it is, right? So and again,
nobody wants to enjoy the journey, you know what I mean? They just want to buy the result.
Well, why? It's because nowadays everybody, you know, you got to go to college and get a degree to get that great job so you can do what? You know, get a nice house and then spend all that money on a vacation, right? And you know, there was a cartoon or something where I saw these two, I mean, it shows two guys that are really young. They're really young, and one makes all this money and everything, and the other guy just enjoys life. You see him going out and fishing, and then this other guy has a great house and everything, and all he wants to do is go out fishing and not worry about stuff. You know?
But he's busy working.
Well, yeah, you know, you got to be balanced. You got to be balanced in life. How many people, you know, all they do is work?
Besides myself and my wife?
Besides me. People go, well, what do you do for work? And you know, I'm like, I don't tell them I'm martial arts.
You're like, sometimes I sit at a desk.
No, I'm like, I'm a teacher. Oh, really? What do you teach? And I go, English. Because you know what? People go, martial arts, and then, show me your stuff. Yeah. I'm like, oh, really?
Do a kick.
Yeah, you know, and then you kick them in the groin, and they're going, why'd you do that? I mean, yeah. So, I mean, balance in life, right? And I enjoy what I'm doing. I don't consider it work. Well, sometimes I consider it work. Depends on who I interact with. So, anyway, so hey, we're just talking in general, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, are you looking?
Well, I'm thinking, like, when did you decide you wanted to do Krav Maga? After all those disciplines that you've went through,
I didn't want to decide.
You did this. Okay. Oh, don't tell me, I didn't choose Krav Maga. Krav Maga chose me.
No. As a matter of fact, I was teaching at a school in Fremont, and I was the head instructor, but they owned the business. So I was in electronics electronic sales, and man, I just got tired of it. And so, you know, I went in, and I had been working for somebody, so I went in and said, hey, listen, I quit, man. I don't want to work for you anymore. Well, what are you going to do? I said, I don't know. I'll flip burgers, but I just don't want to work for you. So this guy who owned the studio said, hey, why don't you come work for me? I said, okay. And then
I'll try it out.
Yeah, one of the instructors there goes, oh, man, you got to do Krav Maga. It's so great. And the owner of the said, listen, I want you to learn Krav Maga. And I go, why? I don't want to learn Krav Maga. I mean, I'd known about Krav Maga, and it wasn't anything. I mean, I'd already seen all this stuff, right? There was nothing new about it. He goes, no, you got to become a Krav Maga certified, and I'll pay for it. And so went down to L.A. and met Darren Levine and liked his philosophy. And Darren, by the way, was was a LA County prosecutor for law enforcement.
Nice.
So he would only try cases where they were done against police officers. And, he was just was a Jewish guy with an afro redhead.
Nice.
Really white guy, right? But he was very intense. So went down there, started training, and I really enjoyed it. And then I said, okay, great. This is pretty good.
And that was like so typically when you go off site or you travel to train, that's like a month, a good solid month.
Anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. Yeah. Training. Yeah. Right. And then, by the way, that was 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
And I got Sunday off. and
that's silly.
Well, yeah, but it was something. It was very intense. But Krav Maga, what I liked about Krav and what was really cool about it is that very easy. Amy broke it down so that anybody could do it.
Okay.
And it was just different.
So the original, because I know that originally, so American Krav is different than Israeli Krav, right?
No.
Because I thought there was a few things that weren't that easy.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Amy developed it for the IDF, which is Israeli Defense Forces. So they use a lot of tactics with their rifles.
Right? Yeah, and they do a lot of jump kicks. I think there's a few jump kicks.
They do a lot of kicking, right? But again, as far as that Krav Maga being different than American Krav Maga, no. Okay. The guy that really brought Krav Maga to the United States was Darren Levine, right? And Darren trained with Amy, and he and Darren's friend was Eyal Yanalop, who was just a phenomenal guy. I mean, Eyal's still around, and Darren's still around, but they both got founders' diplomas from Amy. Oh. They were Amy's senior students. So Eyal lives in Israel, and Darren lives in LA, and he started Krav Maga worldwide.
And the worldwide one is the one where they kind of took out a few of the more interesting things.
Well, they kind of changed it, but I mean, it's Krav Maga, right? Yeah. Amy did some seminars. I had a chance to do a seminar with Amy, but before he passed away. But again, my coaches my instructors were Eyal Yanalop and Darren Levine. Total opposites. Eyal very quiet and hey, and Darren's like get in your face. And so
it's kind of like me and Shane.
Here you go. Yeah, Mutt and Jeff.
Yeah.
But Darren, I was credited to bringing it to the United States and making it very popular, right? Nice. Because when it first started, no one heard about Krav. And when I started, it was back in 1995. I guess. Yeah, 5, I think. Yeah. Anyway,
I might have been 12.
Yeah, no. I was, a lot older, 49, 50, right? But again, and then went there and got my black belt from him. But it's really funny. Nowadays, it's like Taekwondo. When we were in the 70s, there were very few Taekwondo schools.
Yeah.
Very few.
It was exotic back.
And it was all Korean masters teaching, yep. Dan Choi and Byung Yu and a lot of these guys were phenomenal. And then there was a proliferation of Taekwondo schools. Oh, that's a McDojo, right?
Yeah.
And then when Krav Maga happened, there was no Krav Maga schools. And then here's the thing. Darren and Eyal were best friends. And Darren Levine, and I got in towards the end of this where he was trying to trademark the word Krav Maga. And anybody that used the word Krav Maga in anything, he would say, hey, cease and desist. Well, I mean, Darren is a lawyer. He should have known better. I mean, trying to trademark Krav Maga is like trying to trademark karate.
Yeah.
Right? Well, he lost the lawsuit. I mean, he lost it. So then after that was back in 2000 or maybe late 1990 or 2000, 98, whatever. He lost that, and he and Eyal were best friends, and they became like really bad. I mean, Eyal had Darren had worldwide Krav Maga, and Eyal had God, I can't remember. He had Krav Maga unification or whatever, but he had his own organization, and he was Darren sued him, and that's when stuff started happening. So we were a Krav Maga when I first started 2005. We opened up Academy of Self-Defense, and we were a Krav Maga worldwide school. And I would have AL come in and do seminars for us. And, AL is a good guy because I trained with him too. But again, so what happened, then there was a proliferation of Krav Maga schools. John Whitman, who was the president of Krav Maga Worldwide, broke off and started Krav Maga, the Krav Maga Alliance.
Okay.
And then Sam Sadeh, who was one of Darren's senior black belts, broke off and started Alpha Krav Maga.
Shit.
And then there was some other people that trained with y'all and Amy, and they started their own organization. So all of a sudden we have all these different Krav Maga organizations now. And now there's all kinds of Krav Maga. Well, we're the official, real, authentic Krav Maga. We're Israeli Krav Maga. We're the Krav Maga's Krav Maga.
Yeah.
Right? And so now there's a proliferation of Krav Maga schools. I mean, people have heard of it, right? Why? Who was it? What was that movie that Jennifer Lopez? Oh, Enough, right? That was all. And they got the credits for Krav Maga, right?
Yeah.
So now people go, oh, I want to do that. At school, it's brutal. Well, it's brutal. But again, like Amy took everything from, he didn't invent how to punch or how to kick or any of that. He just took it from
borrowed it from different systems, right?
And made his own system, which is very cool, right?
Yeah.
That's the other thing. People go, well, my martial art, the martial arts isn't pure. What's that mean?
Yeah.
What? What's that mean? Pure to what? Right? As long as it works on the street and it's effective, that's all that matters. I mean, that's my philosophy.
Yeah.
So I always like to see different schools and see what different instructors are teaching. And some of the stuff I see out there is really cool. And some of the stuff I see out there is like, how the heck did that guy get his black belt? You know what I mean?
Well, kind of like, you get it at TJ Maxx for a discount.
Well, here's the deal. I mean, you see this stuff on YouTube where a guy is coming in and students are trying to grab him and he's using his energy to fight him off. I mean, using the force, right?
I've seen that.
Yeah.
Or they touch you in one of your body parts, and as long as you got a chain holding on to the other guy, everybody drops at once.
Yeah, I mean, utilizing nerve attacks and that kind of stuff is good. But this stuff about using your energy and people are being blunt.
I think that's awesome.
Well,
it makes for good
great.
Instagram.
It's great in the movies,
Yeah.
but in real life, come on, man. I mean, like, but here's the thing: people pay for that and they believe it.
Yeah.
Ooh, man, that's just crazy.
But you never saw any of that stuff when you were coming up, right? Like that wasn't a thing before
No.
the market got oversaturated.
I mean, coming up, I mean, it was breaking bricks and I this is great. Can you break bricks and go through wood? And I'm like, yeah, but I can't remember the last time I got in a fight with a brick, or a piece of wood. Oh, we're going to fight. No. All that was to show that, hey, the reason why that was started in the first place is, number one, whatever you put your mind to, you can do it, right? And again, it's possible to do that stuff as long as you train, right? You've heard about moms where their child is trapped and they're able to lift maybe a car off their child or whatever, right? Again, that all has to do with adrenaline and that
the drive, the urge to get the thing off of the kid, right? Like I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
What about, since you brought it up, what about these bricks? You ever break some bricks?
I got a photo here, maybe doing speed breaks. I've been speed break. No, I've never broken anything with my head. Let me tell you, I've hurt myself, falling on concrete, right? I'm going to break a concrete brick. Well, you dummy, why you want to do that?
Just because I'm assuming they're not going to punch it with their fist. Do you chop the bricks, right? Or
There's all different. You do palm strikes, you can kick them, you can punch them. I mean, I did that for a while for demos. People were like, oh my God, that's awesome.
Because you were the guy and you had to do it.
in reality, if I was going to get in a fight now, I wouldn't.
You would take the brick and hit him with it.
Why not? Right? Or it's heck, that's people don't understand, man. A street fight is
It's different. It's a totally different thing.
If you fear for your life, man, do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Right?
That's why I love people who, because like I teach the kids Muay Thai now. So whenever anybody I know they're just messing around. They're like, hey, when do you want to go at it? I'm like, first thing I do is I'll kick them right in the groin or aim for the shin. And they're like, are we fighting or are we, doing a controlled match here? Because it looks like you're challenging me to a fight.
That's called sparring.
Yeah.
And sparring's not real. No one fights like that on the street, right? But hey, it's good to know because you're getting punched, you're learning how to punch.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good. We need that. But for actual fight, an actual
I always refer back to Krav. I'll do some crazy kick. I'll throw hands when no hands are even thrown. I mean, I'll do whatever it takes. I love Krav.
That's because you've trained. You know that, and you know
trained with some of the best too. Wink, wink.
You know that getting hit, can be devastating, right? And hitting someone can also be devastating. But you got to have the mindset, man. If you can't
you got to
hit somebody,
change theirs.
Yeah, that takes a lot. I'm glad you learned. Well,
yeah.
But the point is that I get people say, I can't hit you. Well, what if you're in trouble on the street? Oh, I'll be able to. I'll go, no, you won't.
See, all right. I get that too, but right now, there's a reason why nobody's hitting you.
Well, no. But because
I get that all the time. There was this is a contact sport. You got to be able to hit somebody, and they're like, I don't want to do it. Maybe this isn't the sport for you then. I don't know. But here we hit each other out of love.
I love you. I love you.
Exactly.
Well.
But yeah, no, I get that. The kids who come in and they're fresh and I've never done this before, but you want to, right? Like you got to be able to hit somebody.
Listen, we want to teach people how to protect themselves.
Wow.
How to fight so they never have to fight. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
When you have that confidence and you have that air about you, then guess what? Fights don't come to you.
Yep.
Because you get smart and you walk away from them, or people go, wow, this guy's, something about him is like, well, I don't think I want to fight this person.
We were walking the dogs the other day and it was crazy, like a van. And it was one of those vans. It had no windows. It was white. Actually, maybe it did have windows in the back, but they were all whited out. Like you could see there was something blocking it. And we were just walking the dogs and this random van pulled up in front. And we actually were able to, it was weird the way it stopped, and we were able to get by it before the guy got out of the van and started yelling at us like weird things. Like, I don't know what he was saying because we walked away, but it's like, I didn't even want to walk by the van. I mean, I was being tough and I was like, don't worry, Gemma, I'll be able to do this. Let's just walk by this crazy van that stopped right in front of us, all weird and crazy. And the guy got out and he started following us. And I was like, just keep walking. Just keep walking. We don't need to see what this guy's about to say to us. I don't care. It's not interesting to me. What's more interesting is that this crazy stalker van just parked right next to us and this guy's coming out towards us. Run.
Walk away.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care if we have a crazy dog. No, forget it. Like, he'll probably go over and he'll be like, pet me while you kill my owners. Like, it's just like, come on, dude.
I've seen all kinds of things, man. I remember driving down Central, where Central Expressway here. So there's I'm driving and then these two cars in front of me,
just kind of taking up the road.
Right. And two guys out of one on the car on the right-hand side come out with a baseball bat and they go on the other car and they smash the window open, run back in, get in and take off. And I'm like, and the guy that had his window smashed, he was fine. And he drove, they took off and he went after him.
Oh.
I'm like, how crazy is that?
I see it all the time, but I also follow a lot of crazy stuff on Instagram.
Yeah. Some of that stuff.
World Star.
Some of that stuff on Instagram, I mean, it looks set up.
Yeah, some of it does, but other stuff, because I don't know, man. I've seen some silly things.
Well, here's the other thing nowadays. In the old days when somebody was getting hurt or whatever, I mean, people would try to help.
Yeah. People try to help. Now they get their phones out.
I know, and they video it. So, I mean, it's good in a way where you can capture this, but it's bad in a way for the person that needs.
Yeah, that needs the help. You were showing some of the other day that video of that guy putting his hands up.
Oh, and
Once again, it's like somebody was recording it. He could have just as easily stepped in and said, "Hey guys, wait, stop talking, back up, don't do this."
Yeah, well, but it's a different generation, different time.
They'd rather film the nonsense and see the tragedy than stop it from happening. It's like, I don't understand why everybody's so interested in seeing negative stuff like that.
Not only that, man, but people are, I mean, they're all in a hurry on the freeway now after COVID. I'm driving 70. I know I'm old, but man, people are passing me.
Yeah.
And I'm doing 70, 75. And, you know, boom, boom, boom. And they're just passing me on the left, on the right. I mean, when traffic stops, I'm seeing people drive on the, you know, on the left-hand side. Yeah, on the shoulder. I'm like, where are you going? You need to get there so fast.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
But like, I think, you know, before all that nonsense, because there's a lot of nonsense happening with the fuzz. Like, I think that
The fuzz.
yeah.
You mean the fuzz? Wait a minute. How old are you?
All I'm saying is, I think
The fuzz.
with less, I think the fact that there's a few less police out there now, maybe there's less people, you know.
Yeah, but their hands are tied. It's just
Yeah.
crazy to be a police officer now. All of
so
that.
terrible.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole different. That's a whole different podcast.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. We're setting everybody up for the next podcast, right? How we feel about that, right?
Well, before we finish, there was. No, let's just finish on a happy note, man. Like all that Instagram talk, all that negative talk. Now we got to finish on a light note.
Yeah. Okay.
Hold on, I have to think. Like, what can we talk about that's lighthearted?
You know, I tell you what. When people come into the school, but they come in, you know, not in a very good mood, and
Oh yeah,
and then when they leave, how do they feel? Oh, James, I loved your class,
no, they don't
man.
say that. They don't say that. All right, so here's a good one. This morning, speaking of multiple disciplines, I had a young lady come in who looked like an MMA fighter already. Like she's, you know, big and she wasn't necessarily buffed out, but she was big, like a fighter. And she said she had done a little bit of taekwondo and a little bit of jujitsu. And she even sounded Brazilian. So like, you know, like I assume the jujitsu is, you know, just her country's national anthem or whatever.
Correct.
So, she comes in and she's like talking about wanting to learn something new, like self-defense or maybe even kickboxing. So, we get a lot of people coming over, especially from jujitsu, because like they're always getting beat up, or it's not a sustainable thing. Like I know you get strong and as you get older, you could probably stick with it. But I did jujitsu once and my arms were on fire and burning. I know that like I've got a lot of muscle, but it made my muscles tired.
I mean, jiu-jitsu is great. It really is a lot of work. It's different muscle group.
Yeah, different.
Yeah. But, you know, when people come in here, I want them leaving. Maybe they're in a bad mood, but I want them leaving going, God, you know what? I'm glad I came in.
Yeah, she was happy. I mean, she was like more interested in coming and checking out the self-defense, but she took my class this morning, the boot camp, and she was actually, she's like, oh man, I love this. Like, what do I got to do for, she wants to start coming in the morning. So maybe you'll,
Good. We'll see what happens, right? We want people, you know, we want them to come in because I want, you know, if I change a person's life or I affect a person's life positively in a way, that's so good, right?
yeah.
I mean, white teach.
Yeah.
Definitely
To
not for
change
the-
lives.
definitely
To
not for
change
the money.
lives.
There you go.
Making
All right.
stuff happen.
I'm going to go fix my black eye.